so you're the GP2, the press officer, and then you start doing commentary for GP2. Then you get this call from the States, from NBC.
Yeah.
And we got to get into this NBC little era of your career, and most specifically,
Florida Winter
most
Series.
importantly, that you competed in the Florida Winter Series.
Yes.
Why do people not talk about first of all, why don't you talk about this every day? Because
I do, but I just bore people with it.
This is your opportunity. For those of you who don't know,
yes,
Will motherfucking Buxton raced against Max Verstappen in his first year in cars.
Not only Max Verstappen,
Latifi.
Lance Stroll, Nicholas Latifi, to name, 3 future Formula One drivers, and amongst a wildly impressive, Antonio Fuoco, there was a lot of people in this.
Ed Jones, Tatiana Calderon. Yeah, great list of drivers.
Yes.
So this was kind of done as what, like a bit? Like it was like, Will's always wanted to be an F1 driver. Like, let's throw him in the cars. He's never driven these cars before. And then, let's see how he does.
So the head of communications and marketing at Ferrari was really, really smart cookie and realized that NBC were getting the rights to Formula One, and let's do something let's put Will in our junior academy for this winter training ground that we've got for young drivers, despite the fact that Will is at that point I was 33. It's a decade ago. 33 years of age. Come out here and race these up and coming potential future talents. Yeah. And Max was literally straight out of karts. He was 16, I want to say 16, 15, right. 16.
So you guys were equal in experience in cars, pretty much.
In single seaters, Max had done. I think he'd done a wet test at Pembury, and that was about it. Turn up, and
how much training did Ferrari Academy give you before you turn up?
So nothing, literally nothing. A friend of mine had a rig at his house, so I went and I drove a couple of laps of the track that I was going to drive, and then we went out there and I got in the simulator and tried it, and I'm braking 100 meters before I should. I'm not taking any speed through the corners. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a clue. I've never driven a single seater really before. So it was my first practice session. I think I was either 17 or 18 seconds off the pace. And then you're like, shit, okay. Second practice, I cut that down to about 9 seconds. Third practice, I was down to about 7 seconds. And then my drive shaft went. So, I didn't get to qualify, which meant that I should have been on reverse grid pole for the second race. And they were like, do you just want to start from the back? I was like, yeah, I'll start from the back. Anyway, it was run by Luca Baldesseri, who was Michael Schumacher's race engineer. So he's, he knows his stuff. He's been there. And it was all open data. So you could see whatever anybody else was doing, what the drivers were doing. And, you got to see Max's overlays against... and some of these guys were like the cream of Formula 3 at the time. And here comes this precocious little brat out of karts. And he was quicker than all of them. And he was doing things with the car, and he was doing things through the corners that none of them could replicate. And he pissed a lot of people off, because I think for some of them at that point, they were like, they saw the writing on the wall. Now this kid is here. My future is going to look very, very different, because I thought I was the best. But I can't do what this kid does, and he has no experience, and I've got a bit. And it was, he put. So
there was a buzz around him immediately.
Straight away. And it was obvious. It was just obvious. You just needed to watch his onboards, look at his data traces. It's a freaking magician.
But Will, one race, it seems one event, it seems like you finished 10th and he finished 7th. So it feels like you were only 3 places behind him, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, but I think that also equates to a lap. I did beat Latifi though.
Yes,
on merit.
I was gonna say
You did.
Yeah, I beat Latifi in a wet race, and I was still on slicks, and he finished behind me. And I remember when he signed for Williams, and the announcement was made that he signed for Williams, and we were in a club, and at the end of the season in Abu Dhabi, and he was up like in his little VIP little area, and I went up to him and I was like, congratulations, and he was like, thanks so much, man, I can't wait for next year. And I was just like, listen, I'm just going to say this now because I won't say it next year, but just remember, I beat you. And he was just like, yeah, fuck off. So that was great. And but yeah, Lance was my teammate, and was really lovely, and yeah, 10 years ago. But you look at it, you think back 10 years, February 2014 is when it happened. In that 10 years, you look at what Max has done. Completely changed the game. Yeah. It's astonishing in all that in just 10 years.
What was his vibe? Because we have this amazing picture of you and him. And
he was a goofball. He was a total goofball. He was a kid. He's 16 years old.
What was his vibe then versus now? Like where are the similarities and where are the differences between like Max at 15 in Florida with you versus Max now, 3-time world champion?
I don't know. Like, what were you like at 16 and then at 25, 26? But it's like every decade, you know, you think you've got it all sorted out. And then you go 10 years down the line and you look at yourself. I'm sitting here 43. I look at myself at 33 and think, oh man, what a dick. And I think about, talk about the guy who lived in the camper van.
Yeah.
If that guy turned up in the paddock now, I would be like, who's this dick?
Yeah.
But no, Max back then there was a real ease to him. There was an air of, this is just fun. It just came so easily to him. There was no pressure. There was no expectation. He was just there to learn, and have fun. And I liked him immediately. I just thought, nice kid, stupid amounts of talent, but very cool, very, very cool. And it was great because then 6 months later, he comes to the paddock in Spa, and no one really knows who he is, and he's literally just signed with Red Bull at this moment to be a Red Bull driver. And so NBC got the first interview with him because he was kind of like nervous and didn't know where to go and didn't know who to talk to, and sees me, and we were just like, hey, and so we got the first interview.
Wow, you were the first person to interview Max in that fun paddock?
Once he'd signed for Red Bull, we got the first interview with him.